What's good, YouTube? Andre here with the DM Network. Y'all, today we want to talk about Project Z and what we could possibly hear at E3, and also why wait till E3 to talk about this game. But before we get into all that, y'all know the routine. If you're new to the channel, y'all please hit the subscribe button. We're right on the cusp of 3,000 subscribers, and it is super exciting. I couldn't got this far without you all, and I appreciate you for subscribing and watching the videos. So if you're new, hit the subscribe button. Also, click that bell icon, turn on notifications. Follow me on my social media platforms, as well as PlayStation. Yeah, if you get on there, play with me sometime when I'm on, kind of between the PS4 and my PS3, playing a bunch of games. But PSENID, Dmgaming5, Twitter at Dmgaming5, Twitch at Dmgaming06, and Instagram at the_DM_network. And also, I may be switching the YouTube channel back to DM Gaming because that's all my social media tags. So, and I do gaming on the channel. I did switch to DM Network because I was planning on doing a couple of other things, but it seems that I'm just going to create a separate channel for those things. So, expect that change coming, going back to DM Gaming, probably DM Gaming 06 or something like that. But anyway, E3 2019 is June 11th. So we are less than a month away. We are right around the corner for E3 and Dragon Ball Game Project Z. People are telling me I'm getting mixed reviews or mixed signals. You know, some people are like me. They're wondering why haven't we gotten at least a screenshot for the game or something to that effect at this point. While others are saying, dude, just be patient. They just announced it 2 months ago. It wasn't 2 months ago. It was in January, the end of January. So it's been almost 5 months. With January, February, March, April, May, 4 months, you know. So, I want to hear about the game. I just feel like, you know, will it backfire on them waiting till E3 to announce the game? That's my biggest concern because marketing is something that, I mean, you have so many other things going on at E3. Here's my dilemma or my concern. You have so many other things going on at E3, so many big time announcements that you can't prepare for, that if you don't deliver, if this game doesn't blow people away, if this game doesn't change the scope of Dragon Ball gaming in a sense, you run the risk of it being lost in the sauce compared to something else that could be announced or come out or be talked about. You already know that Sony, I don't think Sony's going to be at E3. Xbox will, but even if Xbox announces a new console, could that take over all the news feeds and Dragon Ball Project Z get lost? You know, I look on YouTube and me and a couple of other people are the only ones even talking about the game. You have people who are in the pocket of Bandai Namco in a sense, Rhymestyle, Sirius, Afro Senju, Nanogenics, all of these guys who work hand in hand with Bandai, you know, doing Dragon Ball games, aren't even talking about it. I know some people will say, well, if they're not talking about it, neither should you. I completely disagree with that. Of all the followers that they have, you know, they should, in my opinion, should be the main ones doing videos on this. Not every day like I do. I try to do every day, but you know, maybe once a week or something like that, just to try to gauge hype and things like that. It's very interesting to me because when Xenoverse, I think it was Xenoverse 1, when it first came out, around the time the beta dropped, actually, you know, Romstyle, that's when he was switching to a Dragon Ball channel, things like that. But he was talking and he was, I mean, building hype for the game. He was, hey, you know, go play the beta, check it out, tell them all this and that that you want to see in the game, things that you would like to see fixed in the game, etc., etc. If not for this game, then for a future game. Okay. Why are we not doing the same thing for this game? I don't think that it's too late to kind of say what you want in the game or what you expect to see in the game, because for all we know, there could be something that we want in the game that they're putting in the game that they didn't think to do a certain way, that they may say, hey, you know, we could potentially change that now or in the future or something like that. But they aren't saying anything about the game at all. I mean, at all. And I don't know. I kind of feel like they know about the game. I don't think that they don't know they're all on contracts, probably for non-disclosure agreement. Like they can't talk about some things, you know. And it's easy to get on YouTube and say, "Hey, I don't know. If I knew, I would tell y'all." That's to me is a bunch of baloney because I know that a lot of these influencers do sign these deals essentially to say that they won't talk about stuff that they see and know. But then at the same time, there are times when they do say, you know, I know, but I can't say anything, or I've been knowing for some time and I just couldn't say anything, etc., etc. Now, also on the positive side, that could work out in their favor because if they're waiting till E3 to talk about this game and they understand the scope and the scale of E3 and the things that are talked about and announced, then that could point to say that this game could be pretty freaking big. My whole dilemma is if you were going to wait till E3, why even talk about the game back in January? I know some people will say that they did this because the live stream that they had a couple of weeks prior to the tournament, the fighters tournament, that it didn't go over well, and it didn't. We talked about that in the last video. It did not go over well. I don't think that they wanted to say something about this game at that point in time. It seemed very last minute, and there's a lot of things that have to line up in order for them to even do that. I kind of thought that they were supposed to announce that game on that live stream, but it didn't happen that way. And so they did it during the fighters tournament instead. Which if that's the case, I have to ask and wonder, okay, what wasn't ready? You know, are they that behind in the development process, or is it being rushed or things like that? Because if they're not ready for a presentation, then to me, something says something could be potentially wrong, but maybe somebody could make it out, or maybe I don't know. You know, we don't know. The only thing we can do is speculate. But needless to say, I think I would rather have, no, I'll take that back. I'm glad that they talked about it, that they, you know, did announce it. And then they did show video about it as well, a trailer. Because, you know, that put me where I'm at right now. You know, the channel was already, you know, at what? I think we had maybe 1,200 subscribers when I was doing Madden videos and stuff like that. And then when I switched over to do Dragon Ball, that's when the channel took off. And the reason I switched was because I love Dragon Ball Z. Y'all, I got a PS3 again. I went and got me a PS3 this past weekend, and I got NCAA 14 on it and Raging Blast 2. And I still have the PS2 to play some of the older Dragon Ball games. Like, I love playing Dragon Ball games. They're so much fun. And you know, I wanted to do something on the channel that would reflect my passion, and Dragon Ball is a passion for me. And Madden, while I love football, I love college football more than I do NFL, but I still love football regardless. And I am still going to do some Madden videos on the channel. So I know if y'all here for Dragon Ball, just be mindful of that. But I'm not going to do a lot because the Madden community is super, super toxic. And Madden is not doing very well. And I don't even feel like talking because if I talk about it, then I'm going to rant about it. So that's why I kind of moved on from doing Madden videos. But there are people on the channel who came from Madden and they stuck around and they're still watching and stuff like that. So I do want to give them some content there. But I mean, you know, so I am thankful that they did announce it when they did, because it did help the channel. And I think that, you know, if I can be consistent and continue to do these videos, then, you know, once the game is announced and things like that, I'm just being very transparent with y'all that I could maybe break into that upper echelon of Dragon Ball YouTubers. You know, I know people, you know, Rhymestyle and them, they have a good following already and people are going to follow them regardless. But every YouTuber can tell you this, and they can attest to this, that at some point in time they fall off, or, you know, people just kind of look for a new voice, you know, and people may call it luck, but I call it preparation. You know, they say luck is when opportunity meets preparation. And I want to be prepared when an opportunity comes. You know, when the right somebody falls into the YouTube spectrum and they look and find, oh, wow, look at this video. And they see, wow, this channel's done a lot of videos on Project Z, even before the game came out, and then to continue to cover it and things like that. It's a gamble, because if the game is a bust, then there you go. But I don't think that this game will be a bust. I think that this game will be pretty freaking awesome. I think it'll be beyond what we could imagine. only because they're waiting till E3 to talk about it. Like if this game was very simple, I just don't see them doing that. And then for the announcement trailer, for them to announce it kind of along the sides of Fighters and Xenoverse, it kind of tells me that this is a large scale game. This is a game that they're going to do more than one of, that they have plans on doing sequels of the game and things like that. Another reason why to wait till E3 is because they're dipping into different genres of gaming. And I covered this before as well. But you have Fighter Z that dove into the fighting game genre of the game. Because before, Dragon Ball games were kind of just in a gray area in a sense. They weren't fighters, but they weren't RPGs and this and that. But now you have the creative character in Xenoverse that was, I say it was revolutionary, even though Xenoverse kind of took that from Ultimate Tenkaichi, but I digress. And then with the fighting aspect, Fighters has been very successful in that regard, diving into the Fighters game. So they've drawn more fans to the franchise by dipping into different areas of gaming. And now with this one, they're diving into RPGs, which y'all, let me tell you something. I am a huge RPG fan. I love playing RPGs. I love open world RPGs. JRPGs, RPGs are so much fun because there's development, there's building, there's loot, there's quests, raids. I mean, there's so much that goes on in RPGs. That's why I'm super excited about this, to have an RPG game that's Dragon Ball. So I have to ask the question, is this going to be a Dragon Ball game with RPG elements, or is this going to be an action RPG game with Dragon Ball characters? And the analogy or the scope of reference that I'm judging that upon is basically like Dragon Ball Fighters. Okay. Dragon Ball Fighters, some people say it's a Dragon Ball fighting game. But no, what it is a fighting game with Dragon Ball characters. There's a difference. The older, like Budokai games, are more Dragon Ball fighting games. That's what that is. Now, when I say a fighting game with Dragon Ball characters, that means that it's not a button masher. It's a actual fighting game that can compete with the games like Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter and Tekken and Soul Calibur, games like that have fighting mechanics. They're not button mashers. There's skill that goes into it. Every character plays different. That's a lot different than a button masher. Xenoverse is a button masher that has some fighting elements. It has some RPG elements in it with the creative character and the leveling system. But I'm hoping that this will be a full-blown action RPG like they're advertising it, or will it be a button masher with RPG elements, which RPGs aren't necessarily button mashers. They kind of are, depends on the fighting system of it. All RPGs aren't created equal. You look at games like Destiny, I love playing Destiny as well. It's a massive, it's an MMORPG. But it's awesome. So I cannot wait to see what this game is going to be like. I can't wait till E3 to hear more about this game, to see the title of the game. Somebody asked me that in the last video. What do I think the title would be? They actually said they think it would be Legacy of Goku. I don't think that it will be Legacy of anything, because this game is completely new. The Legacy of Goku series on the Game Boy Advance, it was an RPG game. It was an action RPG game, actually. But Atari was over the series then. I don't know, what legal loopholes they would have to jump through or contracts they would have to work out in order to carry that name over. But the way that they're talking about this game is this is something completely new. Also, you have to remember that CyberConnect 2 is developing this game. So I don't think that they'll go with the Legacy of Goku thing. Now, I know that this game is saying that it is the story of Goku and things like that. But like I have to reiterate so many times, is that Dragon Ball period is the story of Goku. Just because it talks about it being the story of Goku, Kakarot, and his quest, that doesn't mean that Goku is going to be the only playable character. I actually find it very difficult to see how they're going to do this game if Goku is the only playable character. Even in Super Saiyan, Legend of Super Saiyan on the Super NES, you play through with Goku, but you also can play with Piccolo, Vegeta, Gohan, all these other characters as you unlock them through the story. And I just don't see how they can do a Dragon Ball game with you playing only as Goku, which they did in Legacy of Goku. But you see what they did when they followed up the game. They made it to where you could play with the other characters as well. Why? Because just playing as Goku, that's just a tough call. You know, you have to deliver an extremely in-depth and awesome game if your only playable character is going to be Goku. So I really think they'll have more playable characters because they also you have to understand, like I said, that Dragon Ball is the story of Goku, point blank, period. And they're telling the original story of Z. And you can't tell the story of Z if you're only telling it from Goku's perspective, because like I said, you run into issues when you get into the Android saga, because Goku had the viral heart disease and he wasn't around a lot. Also in the Cell saga, while he did fight Cell, did train with Gohan, it seemed like characters more like Future Trunks and Vegeta took a front seat, and Gohan fighting and defeating Cell and things like that. So you get what I'm saying? Even in the Majin Buu saga, Goku, in my opinion, wasn't super relevant and took a major part until the end, when he fought against Kid Buu. But prior to that, it was Gohan again and Goten and Trunks with the fusion and things like that. So you know, I just don't see us only being able to play with Goku. That's going to be really awkward. And if they do that, it's going to be interesting to see how they do that. But y'all, we're going to dive into a lot more of that as time draws near. I really need to get back on the schedule, y'all, but I need likes, I need dislikes, I need comments. You know, let me know what y'all are thinking about a lot of this stuff. The comment sections does very, very well, and I'm super excited about that because the conversation is really good with y'all. So if I do miss a comment, I do apologize, because I try to dedicate like the first couple of hours after a video uploads to do comments, to make sure I'm replying to people's comments and things like that. But then after that, I kind of get busy. I can't sit around and, you know, wait to reply to comments all day. Otherwise, I wouldn't get anything else done in my life, because at this point in time, YouTube isn't my primary job. And I want it to be, though. You know, if it is, then definitely. But at this point in time, it's not. So y'all, like I said, if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button, turn on the notification bell so you don't miss an upload. Follow me on the social media platforms, Twitter, Twitch, which I will be streaming the game on Twitch when it comes out, probably over YouTube, simply because YouTube is really strict with their copyrights and stuff like that. And I heard that streaming on YouTube can actually affect the analytics of your channel and hurt it. And I don't want that to happen. But y'all, that's all I got for right now. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Till next time, thanks for watching. Peace.